Hey guys, welcome back to Raffin's Teach Options Trading. As I keep saying, we are a new community, we are a growing community, and we are looking for like-minded traders to join our group and we can be successful in this trading journey. So what do we do here? We like to share real swing trade options and insights. So if you find value in our content here, in our review, rather in our stock reviews, please let us know, our videos, comment in our videos. If you want to join on our Discord, just put it in the comment that you want to join our Discord, and I'll let you know how to join our Discord. Also, subscribe to our channel so that if you're dropping a new video, you can get it real quick. So, today, I'm happy to say that UNP was a 200% trade, and I'll show you how. So we'll go through UNP, we'll go through XLF, and we'll go through JPM. I'm going to combine all those three into this video to avoid doing two separate videos. So if you are here today and you have not watched our UNP video that I did previously, please go ahead and do that. It will help explain why I have all these shenanigans going on in this video. It will help you understand that, because on this video I will not go through each and every step of detail as to how I entered the trade, but I'll tell you where we entered this trade, where we took our profit target one, and where we exited today and why we exited today. So first thing, where we entered this trade. We entered this trade at about $235.10 right here. Our stop was $232. In the event our bias was wrong, and this happens if there's anybody out there telling you that they're always right, know that they're lying to you, because smart money can decide to sell all their shares tonight, and by tomorrow, if you're trading options contracts, you cannot sell options contracts pre-market and post-market. You know that, right? So smart money can decide to sell their shares, and options contracts, go find yourself where you're going to find yourself. So we entered at 235. Our stop was 232. Now our profit target one was 250. UNP did a bit more legwork on that, got to about 253. This is where our profit target one was. Took out some contracts, held on to some. There was an area that was of interest to me to see what happens when UNP gets there. And it's this area right here. Let me just circle this real quick or put a highlighter. It was that area, rather, let's make this blue so you can see that area, that area, that area, and that area. I wanted to see what UNP would do when it gets to that area. And guess what it did today? It bazookaed through that resistance. And that's why we kept holding, because you hold on to your winners a little bit longer and you cut your losses real quick. Now, UNP crossed through that. Now, coming back here, let's go through where we exited. We exited right here at the high of day, which was at about $260, $261. Why did we exit this trade? Because on Friday, we have CPI coming, and this trade has done so well. It was up 211%. We did not want to go through a CPI event, or even rather a PPI event, with a trade that has done so well, because you don't want to risk good profits just so you can see what happens. You don't want to risk good profits. So we exited this trade today. This trade ended up being a 1:8 type of trade, right? This trade ended up being a 1:8 type of trade. And I was really hoping us to get to 280, or 278, 280 area, but CPI being on Friday, I just didn't want to risk it. So closed the contracts, bought them at $6.80, and I'll show you that, sold them at about $21, making it 211% trade. Now, I would have wanted to go to 280, but you know what? We can wait next time and see what happens. But normally, I don't really re-enter trades that I've already taken. Like, for example, if I've taken UNP, if it decides to come and start do consolidation here, I'm not really interested in it, because when you start, dipping your feet again where you went and dug, or where you went and got money, and you go back there and you start, dipping your feet, what happens? You end up losing money. So this trade is closed, moving on. Now, let me show you the screenshots that I'm talking about. 200% and up on UNP trade. One of them is this one here. So we bought the contracts at 680. Well, this contract was bought at 680, sold it for $21.20. That's 211% gains. You just risked $680 to get $1,440. Let's let that sink for a minute, because it showcases you don't have to spend $10,000 to get a profit of $200. It just doesn't make any sense. And a lot of traders, they do that. You inject so much money into a trade, and your reward, it ends up being a 1:1, or even you risk one, you get half, 0.5. A lot of traders do that, and that's how you lose money. And I understand at times things go south, but you just have to be careful about position sizing. You have to be careful about your risk reward. You have to be careful about these things, because you cannot inject into a trade, so much money just to get pennies out of it. You just can't. You have to analyze and understand what your risk to reward is. That's the whole point of surviving in this trading business, because until you understand that, you will always keep on making the mistake of putting your risk is too high, your reward is very minimal. Now, let me show you another one here. This was, again, the same thing, just one contract. This was at 207%. Bought it for $690, right? Right here. $6.90. That's $690. Put $690 into the trade just to sell it at $21.20. That's $1,430. Guys, I don't even know what to say. But anyway, I've showcased it to you. I've shown you what we do here. I'll show you this was the best winning trade of the year. And I'll show you two trades that we took that didn't work out. And what was the risk management on that? One was down 10%, the other one was down 12%. But that's the thing. You have a trade that's 200% and up, you have a trade that you lost 10% or you lost 12%. That's you lost 22% and you had a trade that made 200%. Okay, let's come back here. So that's the UNP trade. It's closed. We move on. Moving on to XLF. Now, I want us to look at XLF because I did another video, XLF and JPM. Is there a financial sector rotation? Yes or no? Now, previously, my bias was bullish based on um, the momentum that at that point in time I was seeing in XLF and JPM. But now my bias is neutral because I'm seeing these two, XLF and JPM, they're just not making the cut. They're not moving the way I want them to move. Both of them, they're not moving the way I want them to move. JPM seemed to be backing up XLF, but again today's trading session, JPM seems a little bit weak, so pushing XLF or making XLF drop. Now, Let's look at XLF. I won't go through all the details, but on my previous video, I said XLF, this was the resistance. I did say right about here on the 21 would be a good entry, or right here would be a good, right here. Let's make this bigger so you can see what I'm saying. 3 places. Number 1, on this candle break would have been an entry number 1. Let me make this, let's make that color. Right here on the weekly 21, where this candle is, this green candle, this green candle right here. Here would have been a good entry, right here, where the purple line is. Or the second place that would have been a good entry is where we have the green line. Now, this trade, this XLF trade, I tried to do it today. I tried to enter XLF today, and I'd bought 57 contracts. Well, not 57 contracts. I bought XLF strike 57, bought them for $1.05. Now, what I wanted, I entered this trade at about there. Wait, right here. The entry was 54.07, just about there. When this candle, you guys can see this, right? So the entry was 54.07, 54.07 right about here. When this candle started to move up right here, I entered, or rather we entered right here with the expectation of what? XLF was going to make a move to the upside. But yesterday, XLF was acting a bit funny, and I decided to hold off. I entered JPM, or rather we entered JPM yesterday, XLF today. Now, yesterday when you entered JPM, XLF was acting a bit funny. It was not surpassing this area right here. And then today it decided to go up just a little bit, and we entered right here on the purple line, 54.07. But hey guys, look what happened. XLF sold off. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of risk management. I saw that rejection right there happening, and I was like, you know what? We cannot hold this. We cannot hold this. And the stop was 53. Actually, we exited when it was breaking this right here, this candle right here. This one right here, if you can see that. Exited there because my expectation was if UNP is dropping, I wanted it to bounce right there. And that is where we exited that trade because it didn't seem like it had a chance of bouncing off there. In addition to that, JPM was selling off because JPM got to about $326 today. I think so. Let's check. 320. Yeah, it got to about $326.16. And then look at what JPM decided to pull. Look at this stunt it decided to pull. It just dropped to all the way to 315, and I was like, the moment JPM crossed this box that like I'd shown you on the previous video, I was like, no, XLF has got to go. It ended up being a trade of minus 12%. And that's the whole point. At times, a stock can show relative strength today, and tomorrow it's the opposite, because I keep saying we are not smart money. Not unless you have, $1 million in your account, then of course I cannot compete with you. But, I personally am not smart money. Smart money knows what they're doing. And if they're deciding to sell something, you have to have your stop losses so they don't sweep you out. So XLF trade was closed. This was a loss, 12%. Very minimal. Very, very minimal. Again, with the market conditions right now, I think you guys, you've seen what's happening in Nasdaq. Nasdaq has been in a solid box in a tight range since October to date. So you have to be very, very careful about your stops. You cannot set your stop loss to be right here. And when it gets here, you start pushing it all the way down here. No, you cannot do that. You just cannot do that. So XLF ended up being, kaput. It was done for. Not entering XLF until I see strength in JPM or until I see strength in other stocks in XLF. Until then, XLF is an X. Now, let's go to JPM. I won't go through everything again. JPM, I did a recap of that. I did say entry number one, a good entry would have been here where I have the green line, or rather, where I have this arrow. This would have been a good entry. Another good entry would have been right here, right there. Now, I did say that a third entry can be right here, but you must have a very tight stop loss because JPM, JPM can wipe you real quick. Real quick. You must have a very tight stop with JPM. Now, I did say you can enter around here. And on Monday, when we were entering JPM, we did get into JPM and it was around right here. You can see, let me see, 323. It was about 323 because I was planning to enter this on the break of this candle, have this. My idea, my expectation was a breakout from, a breakout from right here and it goes up like that. But that did not happen. And like I keep saying, things can happen. Things can happen and they're out of my control. That's why you have risk management strategies in place. Now, JPM decided to do a oopsie doopsie on us, and this ended up being a loss of 10%. Again, very minimal. And with JPM, you have to be very, very, you have to be very, very strict with your stop losses. So the stop of this was a closer hold 321, right? About 321 because I did see this rejection on JPM. I did not like it. So if it was gonna break right here, that was basically the end of it. Now look at what it did. We entered this trade yesterday. Look at what it did today. It dropped all the way to right here. So I'm not gonna keep forcing this trade. No, no way. I'll wait and see what JPM does. If it decides to flash guys up until here, I'm going to reanalyze this and see, do I want to enter into JPM? Yes or no? Am I seeing strength in this sector? Yes or no? If the answer is no, just stay away from XLF and JPM. Find something else that is moving. Find something else that has momentum. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm gonna post this. You guys, I'm really showing everything here. JPM on Monday, 10% loss. XLF on Tuesday. Where is that? XLF on Tuesday, 12%. These trades didn't work out, and I'm happy to let you know they didn't work out, so you don't try and enter these trades. The one trade that worked out and has been the best trade of the year to date is UNP. You guys can see that amazing candles, amazing rewards. That's all I gotta say. I would like for you guys to be part of us. You're more than welcome to join us. Shoot me a comment. If you want to join our Discord, shoot me a comment. If you have a comment to say, drop it in the comment section. Like our videos, subscribe to our videos so that when we post something about the market, you'll be the first one to get it. So thank you guys. Have a good night. Catch you on the next one. See ya.